So I am taking off again today, and for the record, yes, took trains yesterday, and yes, I still have those thoughts. But you have to understand, if I've been having those kinds of, taking a little pill's not going to change that. Think about it. Basically, our minds are very complicated, and if I've always had that thought, third rail, I could jump, or whatever, then I don't believe for 1 second that if I started taking some little chemical pill designed by man, that those thoughts would go away. My mind's too powerful for that, and it would remember that it always has those thoughts. So what I believe, and you can take this for what it's worth, that I need to accept that I'm going to have those thoughts, but to not let them destroy me, not let them overpower me. Along the same lines, when I was in the shelter and seeing people, caseworkers and whatnot, there was something that I read, it was given to me, because lots of people have thoughts of suicide, and what they had you read was, I have thoughts of suicide, but that doesn't mean that I either will commit suicide or like having those thoughts. See? So I just have to deal with it, and I would rather deal with it than take medication that I don't believe in, and that I believe a lot of times doesn't work for people, and that I believe can have major side effects a lot of times, yada yada yada, whatever. Like I said, that's how I feel. Now, in the end, anything could happen. In the end, I'm still drinking again. In the end, I plan to drink this today because I want to, and I plan to put it in this Powerade blue bottle, okay? Could something bad happen? Sure. Of course something bad could happen, but something bad can always happen, okay? I'm going to eat, and I'm not going to down it right away. I mean, I'm going to drink it slowly, but why do you have to drink it at all? Think about my life situation. Think about all the people who have much better, relatively, if you think about it, they have, look at that famous actor, gets to win an Oscar, gets to be famous, gets to have all this money and whatnot, and he recently died of heroin overdose. The one that, I can't even think of his name, the slightly older one. Well, he wasn't that old, he's not that much older than me, I don't think, but is it Philip Seymour Hoffman? Was that his name? Whatever. Compare his life to mine. I'm sure he was he was famous, and had won an Oscar. I'm sure he was having girlfriends. I'm sure he could get laid anytime he wanted to. I'm sure he obviously he could get as much drugs as he wanted to, so me and my little lonely life, walking around with my MP3 player, blasting music that I like in my ears, and discreetly sipping my booze. I don't know. I'm just saying, a lot of people do hard drugs who have really great lives compared to mine, and they at least have lots of friends, they at least can go out and party and do what they want all the time, so it's just an explanation, not an excuse. But Cheryl's like, because she's like, you need to, when I talked about the self-hate, she's like, you need to talk to somebody. She's like, even people, she's like, you've had a hard life, Laura. She's like, even people who haven't had hard lives need to talk to somebody, a lot of times. And she more or less said something like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking into it. I'm looking into it. What do you want? you're not going to get these videos till after the fact. You'll get them all at once tonight or tomorrow, whenever, but you'll get them all at once. There's like 4 of them, I think, yeah. Unless something happens to me, in which case you won't get them. I mean, something can happen to people who are sober. I have to get this shit mailed up to my mom no matter what. I'm going to send it priority mail. And that's that, but right now I have to eat. I haven't eaten a thing, and it's almost 1. I had planned to leave earlier, but then I realized I can actually send this priority mail because it's going to be a package. It's not going to be a letter, just a card. You can send that priority mail. It's going to go priority mail. It'll get there. It might get there before she leaves. She might not leave this week anyway. I don't know what this fucking drink's going to taste like. All I know is I went to one liquor store. This particular liquor store had this Blue Passion. Another liquor store had these 4 Locos for $2.50 instead of $3 or $2.90, and so 40 cents cheaper. But they did not. They had every flavor but Blue Passion. I really want the blueberry pomegranate Colt 45 blast, but I've now checked about 2 around here, and 1, 2, 3. I mean, I've checked a few, and they don't have it. One actually did have Colt 45 blast, and I asked them, "Do you ever get in blueberry pomegranate?" No. So. No, I'm not going to tell anyone ahead of time if I'm going to the area where I might bump into people I knew when I was living in that shelter and whatnot. And actually, I used to meet my shelter friend kind of far away from where the shelter was, and we still would sometimes bump into people. You know, you can bump into people anywhere that you know or whatnot. But so today I could go here and go to a different movie theater if I even go to the movies, or I could go there and go there, or go here. I can really go anywhere. Trains, buses, etc. You know, trains and buses, that's it. So. I have to eat. You're going to get all these movies, these videos all at once. After the fact. Everything's going to come at once. But as you can see, if you watched the other video where I said age restricted because of my anger and whatnot, I'm still agitated. I'm always going to be agitated until I have a guarantee that I can never be shut out from knowing where my mother is at any time, no matter it's a regular hospital, a mental hospital, whatnot. My mother's a child. She'd be like, "Oh, I'm healthy. Nothing's going to happen to me." Yeah, Mom, that's naivete. Just like you thought you'd never wind up back in the mental hospital again, and you twice within a certain amount of time. I wasn't even living with you that long, you know. But that's childlike. That's her illness, you know. Mother, your love is a beautiful gift. I can read a little part of this. Through all that time has rearranged, your love has never ever changed, and that is true. My mother has unwavering remained. Her love for me is unwavering. It's unconditional. It's unwavering. And that, even in parents, a lot of times can be rare. Parents in regards to their children. And my grandmother stopped talking to my father. Basically, I guess, because who knows why. Part of it had to do because he left my mom. Yeah, he needed to leave my mom. He couldn't stand her. He wanted her to abort me, and she refused, and then he married her only because you forced him to. Of course he left when I was 2. You know, I mean, come on. And he was cheating on her my mom the entire time that he... Oh, one more thing I was thinking of, and then I'm going to start getting ready and start drinking. But at first I'm going to have my nice healthy shake. At least offset the booze a little bit, you know. I'm very, very grateful that I never wound up experiencing what my mom has experienced for the past 35 years. Okay, very grateful. My gratitude that it didn't happen to me in no manner whatsoever changes how upset it makes me that it happened to my mom. See, it doesn't change it. Sure, I'm grateful, and you can even say to me, well, why do you think it didn't happen to you? That's the $1 million question. And here's my, as usual, blunt answer. Beats the fuck out of me, period. There, but for the grace of God go I. How the fuck do I know why that didn't happen to me? What happened to my mom? I'm grateful. And you and I both know, we all know that how easily it could have happened in the past and probably could still happen. For whatever reason, I'm able to keep it under control. Even if only sometimes just barely. Because believe me, when I fell into my delusion, based partly on what was feasible, not plausible, that Chad Kruger loved me and had been following me all those years and had written Dark Horse for me and etc. and he'd written other CDs over the years, other songs for me over the years and whatnot. When I fell into that full force hook line, fell into it, I was this close to winding up like my mom. It was just chance. Okay? So your question, why didn't it happen to you? Beats the fuck out of me. Look at this little girl. Sweet little blonde girl was cheesed and beat up and by usually boys. The kids in grade school teased me too, but boys were the ones that really were bad and beat me up, and even the boys 9 to 13, and then the older boys even would tried to molest me in my neighborhood, in my horrible neighborhood where I lived in Massachusetts. But doesn't she look like a sweet little girl? Not that she had problems and everything, but she was bullied at school and then going through hell at home, I'm like 10 or 11 here, I think. Maybe a little younger in this one. Maybe 11 here and 8 or 9 there, I don't know. My mom would probably know. Beats the hell out of me, I don't know. I have no idea, seriously. I only know a little bit the age range, but I don't, what it could be, but not exactly. But I look a little younger there than in there, right? This is probably 11 or 12, and this is maybe 8, 9, 10. No, I'm probably 8 or 9. I don't know. Gotta go. This awaits, but ice cold in the fridge because I had it a half hour while I walked over for his half hour, and I took it out and then put it in the refrigerator. This awaits me. But so does food.